My phone really hates me today. I'm very disappointed. I'm really disappointed, y'all, because my phone decided to turn off and just turn off for no reason. The issue with that is that we lost the live, so we have no series to post today, and that was a really good conversation. Um, I was seeing if we could come back on here really quick and end so we could have like maybe a clip of us ending. But I know that Ashley has to go in a few.
I'm back.
I don't know what. I feel like my phone is possessed.
Girl, doesn't matter. We're here now. We're back.
We're
Here we
back.
are.
So, with all the heaviness that we talked about, I'm going to
Yeah.
repeat it again just to have this live actually saved this time. So, we
Okay.
spoke about, Black lives and immigration,
hmm
how a lot of people who are Black immigrated to the US and kind of have to deal with their identity being like a Black person who's from somewhere else. We talked about a lot about colorism. We talked about being a literal African American. We talked about being Haitian American.
hmm
Um, and now we were going to get into the more like exciting questions like, what is something you're excited about right now? I know it's hard to be excited, but there has to be something.
Going on vacation.
Are you going on vacation right
No, but I want to, so I'm planning it.
now?
Planning a vacation. I cannot wait until it is safe to be somewhere like in a resort, drinking a margarita, living my best life.
Yes,
And knowing that so much has happened in this year and we've overcome it all.
right.
That's what I'm
Do you
excited
have a
about.
place in mind?
I want to go to Aruba or the Cayman Islands.
Yes, Caribbean. Yes, I love that. I love that. You know what we were talking about? How you've been shutting yourself off in the media and
Yeah.
like just like not consuming all of it. And I was
Mhm.
saying how I kind of need to do the same because I'm just like so baffled at all the things. I think I'm baffled because I feel like as a young person, I really
Mhm.
didn't want to believe that this was our world. And I feel like I'm so crushed to realize that like this is the reality of the world we live in.
I think I've always known that this was our reality, but now it's becoming a reality for people outside of us as
Right.
well. Or at least it's being spoken about. The conversation is there. A lot of people are educating themselves on Black history. A lot of people are educating themselves on the movement, and I think that's extremely important because a lot of the times we as Black people are looked at to or expected to educate others.
Yes.
And I don't think that's our responsibility anymore. Well, I never
No.
thought that was our responsibility, but I think it's like getting out there that it's not our responsibility to educate you on our history and what this movement is about.
I think my favorite part about this, though, like even if it's super dark times, is that I feel like if we never had COVID-19 and we paused, and we'd never paused, and we never, you know, like had to stop what we were doing and like realize what our world looks like without
Yeah.
the veil covering it, I feel like we're exposing and unveiling a lot of things that were hidden. So I feel like in the back of our mind, we always knew this existed, but we couldn't really express it or prove it because sometimes it'll just be our feeling like, did this person just mention my hair in a passive aggressive
Yeah,
way? Or, we could never explain. And then you'll have that person that's like, no, they just like your hair. It's no big deal. And then you like second guess your thoughts.
exactly, exactly. There's so many ignorant things said with the intent, with no malice intent.
Right,
And I think because we know there's no malice intent, we're kind of like, should I address this? I know they didn't
right.
mean it. But yeah, so then like you said, it causes us to second guess ourselves. But now I think it's okay to have conversations where it's not okay to just touch my hair because I feel like I'm here for your entertainment, or I feel like you just see me as an object, where because you wouldn't go around touching anyone else's hair. Or
Right.
I feel like asking things like, do I have a pet giraffe at home? That's a little ignorant. Like maybe you should like research things because that doesn't make me feel good. I think it's okay to have conversations like that
Mm-hmm.
and be able to express
Someone
ourselves. Now,
asked you if you had a pet giraffe at home?
I don't think giraffes specifically, but definitely, definitely have I ridden on tigers, stuff like that. Do I own elephants? Do I live in a hut? But it's really interesting. I think today as a flashback Friday in my story, I'm gonna post everything that I own, that my family has in Nigeria, like the houses and the cars and the land and stuff. So yeah, in honor of Flashback Friday.
Yes, because I think that people have this, like, like I said, the media shows a lot of Black communities impoverished, poor, lack of
Mm,
education. They show that. And I mean, at least for Haiti, they never show like the beautiful areas in Haiti, the rich people in Haiti. They're always just showing like earthquake, destruction, trauma.
yeah,
Um, and I
and
think
then
they do that to a lot of Black communities because there's a lot of Black excellence and beauty that's coming out
talk
every single day.
about it. You're 100% right. And again, that's why I said it's important for people to educate themselves. And again, a lot of these things, some people were making fun of me when I was younger, and other people were really asking with no malice intent. So it's like, one, how do you distinguish the two?
Right,
And it's like, when do you say something? Because I don't like, I'm actually over the idea that I can be that angry black woman because I know I'm not. People know me, know I'm not. So if I check
right,
somebody for something, it's not me being angry, that's me correcting your wrongness, you
right.
know?
And I think that now is the time more than ever. Now I'm never gonna be in a space where someone says something that's like, oh, like that I don't feel comfortable with, and for me to not say anything. Because I feel like we've been letting this go on for generations. And
Um,
that's why we have so many people who are completely like thinking that it's okay to ask someone from Africa if they own an elephant. Like,
I just think back at all the times where I've let semi-racist situations just slide because I didn't know how to address it or
same.
I didn't want to be offensive. Like I was told, but so the lady who said this, she's Jewish, but her family came from Egypt. So I know that they experienced some type of prejudice and stuff, but I mean I guess I don't know. But she was like, I told her I wanted to buy makeup. She was like, why are you buying makeup? You're already dark skinned. She would touch my butt a lot at work and be like, "Oh, big booty's coming." She told me that I have a louder way of communicating because I am African and it's an Afrocentric way to be louder. And the European way of communicating is much quieter, more calm, and to believe her because she studied this in college. So at the time, I was like, I was probably like 24, I'm 29 now. I was probably 24 listening to all of this, thinking this isn't true, but not knowing what to say because I was the only Black woman there. But now that will not go down because I know, again, she did not have any malice intent, but I know it's extremely important to correct people either way.
Girl, I've had the same experience. So I'm 24 now, and I work for a very corporate company. And I had a coworker that would every time I would change my hair would say something. So the other, like one time I came in the office and I had like my fro out, and she's like, "Oh my God, you look like a Powerpuff Girl," and I was just like, there's no Black Powerpuff Girls, so I guess you're just saying that because my hair looks like that. Like I don't know what to say. Like, I was talking to a coworker of mine, and they were like, you know, how are you doing? Like, you could definitely come and talk to me if any of this is happening. And I was just like, okay, like, sure. And they're like, okay, so what have you been up to? And I'm like, I'm watching the protest live, and sometimes I join the protest. And he was just like, well, can you let me know what's going on if you see anything like looting in Nashville, because my son's a police officer over there, and I just want to make sure he's safe. And I'm just like, Black people are dying. Black people are dying. We've been dying. And you're concerned with your only son who's a police officer in Nashville. And you want me to watch out for protests in Nashville.
Like,
so to let you know, so I got to do the work for you.
See, that's what gives me.
Who's protecting my Black brothers and sisters? Who?
You know,
who's doing that work for us? Who's like, please call me whenever you're with the cops so that we can make sure you're safe? Who's doing that?
Seriously. And like I understand his concern because that is his son. But however, look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture of things. You're watching protests. You're watching protests. You're not watching out for his son. Like what? And I think that's a part of privilege, right? Being able to focus on only one thing. And again, I'm going to just keep repeating this with no malice intent, though, to be able to focus on one thing, because that's all that applies to you. That's the privilege. I have Black brothers. I have a Black brother who's a doctor, but they're not going to see that. And he runs in South Carolina. He goes running. I have another Black brother who has his own ministry, but they're not going to see that. He goes running in Princeton. I have a Black boyfriend who is a realtor and works in communications, and he goes running in Long Island. They're not going to see that. They're going to go see this. So that's what I'm worried about.
The person goes on to and like says, like, I know what I have to do in my community. And I just felt like I hated that one part of it, like that one part of the conversation even more, because he was like, I know what I have to do in my community and what I have to do in the voting polls and stuff like that. And I was just like, our community? No? Not our community? Just yours, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just like, just yours, huh? Like, not our community. Because I'm standing with everybody, not just Black people. I'm fighting for Black lives, yes, but I'm standing with everybody, yes, 100%. And I think that I don't understand how there's a disconnect in that.
Yes, and you know, I think, like, for me personally, and what I've experienced, Black people are constantly for everybody. And now that we are literally saying things like Black Lives Matter, people think Black Lives Matter equal all other lives don't. But
Right.
no, I do believe all lives matter, but people keep forgetting about the Black ones. That's why we have to remind
them. They never remembered. And I think that's something we have to address. The only reason people are screaming Black Lives Matter is because we are being treated like we don't matter every single day. And I'm sorry, a lot of other ethnicities and people and cultures, they don't experience that every day. They're not dying on the street for running. Like, I don't see the issue in that.
Black Lives Matter is literally reminding you guys, because you guys keep forgetting. Or not even you guys. Just is a reminder, because it's always forgotten. I'll say it that way, always. So
you're just seen as disposable all the time. Like,
exactly. And if you're saying all lives matter, then why aren't we included in that? You know, like, I mean, I understand, like, everyone dies. Like, everyone, like, all races kill all races, like, in a sense, right? But the justice isn't always brought depending on what race you are. And that's another aspect of Black Lives Matter. Like, racism is this one thing and it has all these different levels. Black lives is one thing and it has all these different levels. So when we say it matters, there's so many different aspects of the movement that we can talk about, you know?
And I just want to, like, last thing I want to talk about is the peaceful protesting that's going on, and how they're like, the police officers are truly showing their true colors, some of them, and they seem to not care if you're Black or white. If you're outside protesting for Black lives, they seem to want to destroy your life as well. I've seen elderly people being pushed down. I've seen a lot of like content on media, and I'm like, I know it's taking a lot from my energy, but I'm sharing this because for so long, like I said, I gave so many people the benefit of the doubt. So I gave our world, America, the benefit of the doubt, right? So I thought that I would be protected and my people would be protected and we would be protected as humans in general. And I'm just slowly realizing that it's not like that at all. And so I'm immersing myself in all this content and sharing it because like I want to show people that this is 100% real, just in case you had a doubt.
It's
But you
real.
know, when they're arresting people and like even if they're just giving them citations, I was just talking to this reporter yesterday about this. You know, like Black people or people of color being arrested and having to apply for college or having to apply for things and having to check the box if they've ever been incarcerated, if they've ever been arrested. Like that now has to be their reality, and now they're not going to receive the same resources that someone who's never been incarcerated or never been arrested has. And I think that that's one of the ways that they've kept the criminal justice system going for so long. And
Wow.
I think that's another reason why they're outside, specifically like, oh, we're just going to target all these Black protesters who are not doing anything but peacefully protesting.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to
I didn't think
systematically
about it that
destroy
way.
Black lives.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah.
It's a
But
lot.
if there was one thing you could tell someone who's going through a tough time right now, I'm just going to say in the Black community because we're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be as strong as a person as you want. It's detrimental to your self-esteem to see what other people are doing to people who look like you. So
Seriously.
if you had a message for anyone right now struggling with that, what would you say?
Sometimes things will get worse before it gets better, but I think it's always good to identify our struggles as temporary. It's temporary. Everyone is affected differently, everyone feels it differently. But think about all the struggles Black people have gotten through. Our history did not start with slavery, but it was a big part of it. And we got through
Right.
that. Civil rights movements, we got through that. We're gonna get through this. And like I said, it might get worse, but it's gonna get better. And I think once you change your perspective on situations, it makes it easier to deal with. Not easy, but easier to deal with. So definitely be it.
So how would you perceive this? What's one way you're perceiving this?
A revolution. A Black revolution.
I
Even though
definitely feel like I'm a revolutionist, like when I'm outside screaming.
seriously, and the beauty of this is that all races are coming together to be a part of this Black revolution.
And I have been capturing that because when I tell you, people in New York City make me proud. Everyone who's in New York City right now, you guys make me so proud. Whether you're outside or not, I am so proud to say that
Seriously.
I've lived here and that I am someone who is like working in this community, because the amount of people that have showed out, come out to
hmm
these protests, and not just Black people, all people, and
All
have been
people.
screaming with us and putting their lives at risk with us and
hmm
being risked, like, might be arrested. Thank you so much for that, because you guys keep our community going. Like, we can't do it without you guys. We are stronger together, and they hate to see us together.
And I think I 100% agree with that. And I think it's important to recognize the non-POCs for using their privilege
Right.
in order to get their point across, because they have a privilege that we don't have. And they're
Right.
acknowledging that and they're using that for the better. And I 100% am so appreciative of that.
Stronger together.
hmm
So I'm gonna end on that note. We literally had 3 podcasts in one today.
We did, but we came
And
back
that's okay.
stronger.
That's okay. But thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me and having these like tough conversations with me. Um, I know it's a lot, and thank you guys for listening and joining in each time.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate it. The Brave House really appreciates it, and stay tuned for next week.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.